There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Steve.
And I'm Sean Fangirl S. And tonight we'll be discussing episode 2 of season 5 of Van Helsing. Oh my gosh. So I really like the way the last episode played into this one.
Right.
Okay, I'm not seeing time jumps because we know how that gets sometimes.
Yes.
So interesting and still kind of like, how are they working this? But I keep thinking that it's going to be like Winona and we're only getting like 5 episodes. That's why I'm like, how are they getting through this in 5 episodes? I'm like, oh wait. No. We have 13. Okay.
Yes.
So we got plenty of time to play this out.
Yeah, there were a couple of big shockers there that I wasn't expecting, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was really thinking, holy crap, Jack, now what? You know, it was like, what is happening?
Right.
Did she change everything enough that suddenly Oracle is going to be like, oh, I'm the new one and I'm the new hunter? And, I was just like, I'm so confused what that happened. What's happening? Oh my gosh. And then as things kind of played out, it's like, oh, okay, wait. Oh, okay. It's like as it progressed, if I just waited a minute, it would have been fine. It's like, quit stressing out already. Jeez, lady.
Well, let's jump into episode 2, Old Friends. Jack survives the gallows and teams up with another vampire hunter to try and stop Michaela from rising the Dark One.
I still don't know what's happening, though.
Right.
I'll tell you, because there's still questions with the count.
Yes, there
all
are.
the way through the end. So I'll leave it at that while you jump in.
All right. Well, we open the next morning as Captain and several guards take Jack out of the castle and into a crowd of angry townfolk.
Why do they always throw cabbage?
I don't know, but probably because it's the only
big thing?
vegetable that'll really hurt.
Well, yeah, if you're throwing the whole head, you whack somebody with one of those. But it's like, there was a handful of leaves people had. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was seriously, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe that's why cabbage is in video games, because in all like lore, there's always cabbage everywhere in these towns.
Right.
I don't know why. It's so weird. Somebody explain it to me. Somebody who knows something about history can let us know what the deal is with the cabbage.
Right. And we see also in the crowd the Oracle and Roberto. And Oracle asks Roberto about the other vampire hunter and is told, well, he's just a villager named Florian, that the vampire hunter appeared like a phantom bathed in light. And
would you really call Florian a vampire hunter?
No, I wouldn't.
Like, no, although Jack was like straight up sounding crazy. It's like, you're going to get him killed. Stop it.
Right, because Jack yells at Florian to kill Michaela. And of course the Oracle hears that and wonders how could she know? Well, she's special, that's why. And Jack warns Florian that she will try again, which confuses the Oracle and Roberto, because they didn't know what Michaela's plan was.
Why are you there if you don't know what the situation is? I mean, I thought this was the point. You were supposed to be helping.
Right. Well, I think the Oracle was about to put the pieces together, but just hadn't yet. Of course, okay. Florian yells, "Death to the witch, kill her!" And of course, he walks away and the captain drops the floor. And as the crowd celebrates, the camera pans onto the rope, which we see shaking.
I know, I was starting to think, I'm like, is it going to be like Deadpool or something where they can't kill her? And she's just going to be sitting there like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to cut off her head, because that probably will work, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we go to the castle later that evening where Michaela tells the sisters that they must move quickly as the full moon approaches. And of course, we have one of the sisters questioning how they will prevail, and Michaela tells them that life and death are mere obstacles to her path to greatness.
I'm like, wait a second, what? So she's going to be like a zombie? What's happening?
I guess she thinks bringing the Dark One back will grant her eternal life or something. I don't know. Of course, the sister questions that they've spent centuries looking for a woman so pure of heart and so worthy of corruption by the Dark One. Kayla says,
so pure of heart that they can be corrupted. It's like,
yeah.
Isn't that kind of an oxymoron?
You would think. But Michaela tells them there's still a way, an ancient way seeped in darkness.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
I kind of felt that as soon as she started to say the next line. It's like, what?
Yeah. She tells the sisters to gather fresh blood in abundance, and there is no time for discretion. Because one of them says, we've been taking one at a time. Take the whole village if you have to.
Yeah, it's like, that doesn't sound good. And then it was reminded me of, and I can't remember, it was a countess, and it was something like she would bathe in like virgin's blood to try to stay young. So it was kind of like a vampire lore. And again, if somebody knows which one I'm talking about, because I cannot for the life of me remember, like that's what I'm like, okay, they're going to do that. But I thought it was for Michaela. I thought it was going to be her to like make her young and like transfer herself or something. I didn't expect it to be what it was.
So Michaela tells the one questioning her to find where they buried Jack and bring her, but remove the head first, as they can take no more chances. Michaela wonders who sent her to thwart her and why.
Yeah, I'm starting to think Michaela needs to share the information with the sisterhood because they don't know what's going on and they're not your loyal followers like you think. They're kind of like, why is she so afraid of this? This person's dead. This doesn't make sense. They sound like sullen teenagers.
Right, yes. Now, the Count tells his dead wife that he has avenged her death when Michaela enters, telling him that it is time to prepare the body. Of course, he questions her, and she tells them that men should not know of these things, and he should go.
This I thought was interesting, because I'm like, okay, because way back when, it's like, the guys didn't really know a lot of stuff, right? They kept stuff hidden, like, you know, how childbirth happened, and probably how preparing bodies for death happened. So I wasn't thinking anything weird until he decides to pipe up and question her.
Yeah. And he asks who she really is, as he saw her as her true self, that old hag. And she tells him that he must have known her powers, as so many innocent lives lost for their blood so it could be used to give him a child.
No, I didn't know anything.
Yes.
Really?
She reminds him that he told her at all costs and that he is her accomplice after all. Yeah, you're kind of guilty yourself there, Count. So we go to Jack's grave where Alexandra and the other sister dig up Jack's body, and Alexandra is told not to forget the eggs. What eggs?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, where did that come from? But Jack springs into action, hitting the first sister, and is able to get the drop on Alexandria so she can bite her. And of course,
Did they mean act and they screwed up?
Probably.
Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I thought it was weird sounding.
Yes.
Maybe it was like the accent, like the little bit of an accent.
Yeah,
not quite a twang.
Yeah. So Alexandria coughs up the black goo and asks Jack who she is. Well, Jack tells her to go ask her brother and taunts the other sister, who charges at Jack. But before she gets there, Bathory takes her head off.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Oh, yeah?
I'm like, oh, hi, welcome to the party.
Yeah.
And those two.
And of course, Bathory asks how she knows her name, and Jack tells her she won't live long enough to find out and throws an axe at her, which sticks in the tree. Which makes sense now, because I don't think Jack had an axe on her in her body bag, so.
That would be weird that they buried her with one.
Right. So Jack charges her, and Bathory tells her she doesn't want to harm her. And Jack's like, since when?
Right? It's like, Jack, you have to remember when you are.
Right.
Okay.
Bathory stabs her with a knife, and they circle each other trying to figure out who each other are. And Bathory questions how is she alive as she saw her hang. And Jack just lifts up the shirt and goes, see, I'm healing.
It's like, I'm a little hard to kill. It's like, all right, smartass.
Yeah.
She's going to think you're what she's trying to kill, so maybe explain.
Yes, they battle again, and once Jack has the upper hand, Bathory tells her they both wish for the same thing, and Jack realizes that Bathory isn't a vampire.
About time.
Yeah.
All you had to do is pay attention, Jack.
Bathory tells Jack she comes from a long line of vampire hunters, which confuses the hell out of Jack.
Yeah, it confused me.
Yes.
Because I don't think that was ever mentioned, anything like that.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Okay,
Yes.
Things are getting weird.
Yes, they are. Bathory tells her there are vampires hunting in the woods and they must go. So we go to the village where we see the town leader trying to console Florian about being wrong about Jack. The village gets attacked and the leader rushes out as Florian has to go back and grab his sword. But as he nears the door, he hears people screaming and he stops. And he kind of slowly backs up. But when he turns
way to be brave.
Yes. Vampire hunter? I don't think so.
Yeah, right?
But when he turns around, there's a vampire there, but Alexandria runs it through with her sword. Hopefully you took its head off.
Yeah, right.
Florian asks how she's human again and is told the strange woman rose from her grave and turned her back and they hung.
I still can't get over that all of a sudden, oh, I'm cured, I'm not a vampire, and I'm now clean. It's like,
yeah.
Can we at least fake that you have to wipe that off and your skin just doesn't turn weird crusty?
Yeah.
I don't know. That has been bugging me through this whole thing.
So we go to Bathory's camp and Jack sees a painting on the wall of Bathory and her mother, who was the greatest vampire hunter of their people. And the more we get into this, sounds like we're doing a discount double check here. Because Bathory tells Jack she has lost so much in the battle to stop Michaela and the sisterhood. And Bathory asks Jack how she is part of this because she wasn't in the cards and now she's everywhere. And she wants to know what Michaela was trying to do, and Jack tells her that once Michaela is killed, the Dark One won't reign again.
Jack, I don't know. Like last season, I felt like she was not as, I don't want to say dumb. I'm going to say naive because
right, yes.
All of a sudden it's like she's lost all sense. Like, oh, I just have to do this and it's done. It's like, think things through.
Right.
Weren't you in military school?
And Bathory tells her that the cards are telling her that it's not over yet. And what does she know about the Dark One? Well, Jack takes a break from Bathory and is given some food and is invited to join Roberto. And Roberto...
That was a giant bowl, by the way.
Yes.
Say it.
Roberto tells Jack that she can trust Bathory because she wants to defeat the sisterhood, which will avenge her mother's death. This is sounding more and more familiar. Jack informs him that she saw him spying on her in the village, and he tells her that he saw her eyeing the amulet around his neck. Of course,
yeah, this was confusing me because I thought the amulet was supposed to be
the Dark One's blood, yes. And you kind of go, okay, how do we put this together to where it makes any kind of sense?
Yes, thank you. Because I was sitting there scratching my head going, hold on a second.
Yes.
Are they trying to say Bathory is from the Van Helsing line then?
Or the Van Helsings came from her line.
Or is Roberto a Van Helsing?
See,
now it's like, okay, but he got it from Bathory, which is
right.
Really
it was handed down from her mother and her mother before that and her mother before that. So
right. So it's really getting confusing.
Yes. And he tells her he'll leave it up to Bathory to tell her about the amulet. And yeah, you just have to wonder if there is actually some kind of blood tie between Bathory and the Van Helsings. And wouldn't it be really weird if Bathory was great-great-great-great-great-grandmother to to Vanessa or Jack?
That would be so weird.
Yes, it would. But it would be another Van Helsing that fell to the dark side.
Ah, that's true.
So...
taking them.
Right. So we go back to the castle where Michaela has Olivia's body in a tub and starts a spell as sisters add more blood to the tub. The maid is brought to Michaela, who tells her she would help her master even in death, wouldn't you? She goes, yeah. Wrong answer.
I was saying wrong. That was the wrong thing to say.
And Michaela slices her throat and then just drops her in the tub.
Damn, that's harsh.
Right. Michaela returns to her chanting, and Olivia's eyes open up. This can't be good.
No. And they weren't like glazed over or anything.
No.
I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yes, then Michaela tells the sisters to kill the rest of the people because her spell worked. And we go upstairs where the Count is awoken by the cries of his child, and he calls for the maid. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. When he doesn't get a response from Serena, he gets up to discover Olivia holding the baby. Why? And she asks him, why can't I get him to stop crying? Because you're not alive?
He knows that things aren't right.
Yeah, because he stumbled.
Cold.
Yeah. Yeah, when she turned and he saw her, he almost fell down. That was some great acting by Kim Coates right there.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And the Count finally convinces Olivia to give him the child and go back to bed. She goes back to bed thinking that she will be renewed in the morning. I don't think so, Olivia.
Because she does say that she can't get warm no matter how close she gets to the fire.
Right.
And it's like, go ahead, get close.
Now we see Michaela chanting over her vat when she is interrupted by another sister. And of course, Michaela just goes whoosh and right in the sister's face, accusing her of spying on her mother. But the sister tells her that the sisters that went after Jack never returned and that the grave was found empty. So of course, Michaela demands that she find her and kill her. And we never see that sister again.
Yeah, hey, Michaela, maybe you go take care of stuff.
Yeah, and of course, the Count comes in with sword drawn, wanting to know what Michaela has done to Olivia. And he threatens...
Well, she didn't bury her.
Yeah. Prep the body, but not for burial. He threatens to burn her at the stake, but she tells him he will do nothing. She reminds him that he is not pure of heart, as she knows what he's done in battle and that he has spilt as much blood as she has. That's probably true. Now, Michaela warns him to keep Olivia hidden, as if she was seen by the villagers, she would be swinging from the gallows next. Maybe he should take her out there himself.
Right? Hello, she is coming close to your baby. What do you want more?
Yep. And we see Olivia waking up in the chair, and she has flashes of her death and starts hearing voices. And she looks in the mirror and has another flashback and wakes up in the chair again. What?
Yeah, I honestly thought there was a glitch. I'm like, oh, is something going on with my cable?
Yeah. So she walks to the mirror again and reveals her death wound and sees Jack's face and realizes, maybe I'm not alive. Of course, Tricia Helfer in this episode was amazing.
Oh, God, I love it.
And she runs through the castle looking for anyone, calling for everyone. Nobody responds. She enters a room and finds a painting of her and her empty coffin. And she flashes back again, sees Jab stabbing her and falling to the ground. And the Count comes in and finds her and tells her to come with him as she must not be here.
Yeah, I think basically everybody's dead. I don't think anybody's going to see her, though.
Right. He takes her into this room and she tells him that the light inside her is dying and how will she get it back? Don't think that's happening.
No.
Back to Bathory's camp as she wakes Jack and tells her they need to talk. Even though her people are brave, she has to consider their safety. And of course, Jack just thinks she's running away because she's scared. Well, Bathory tells her that her mother learned how to fight the darkness with darkness, but it consumed her. Sounds like Abraham Van Helsing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a family trait.
Yeah, Jack tells her that she lost her mother too, and she will get her back.
Will she at this point, though?
I don't know. Not sure how Jack's going to get back to the present to help everybody else right now. So Bathory tells her that there is no way they would be able to storm the castle to get to Michaela. So that was a very short-lived partnership.
I'm thinking, okay, the sisterhood's getting out and they're not walking through the front door.
That's right.
So how are they doing it?
And we go back to the castle where the Count takes Olivia to a room in the castle telling her that he will protect her son. She reminds him of their vows and he tells her that he feels nothing from her heart and that she knows that she's not what she once was. We go to the tavern where Florian and Alexandra hear a banging on the door and get no reply.
Well, there is nobody supposed to be out there because they're all dead.
Yeah,
so
right.
I understand.
Finally, Jack tells him it's her, and he lets her in.
Yeah, hurry up, let me in before anybody sees me. Everybody's dead.
Jack apologizes to lying to him, but she had to kill Olivia. And Florian thanks her for saving Alexandra. Of course, Alexandra wants to know where she's been, and Jack tells her she's been on a wild goose chase, thinking she had found an ally. And Jack wants to know why they dug her up, and Alexandria explains that Michaela wanted her head and her plans for Olivia. And of course, Jack...
I'm sure she'll just give that information.
Yeah, Jack asks Florian when, and she tells her when the moon is full, and it's tonight.
Oh, great. Plenty of time.
So, of course, Chicken Little decides to stay and defend the village of no one, but Alexandria tells him they need to try. We go to Bathory's camp as they're packing up to leave. Jack and Alexandria arrive with news of Michaela's plan. Bathory is surprised to learn that Jack was able to return Alexandria to human, but still thinks it's insane to think that they can get to her. Jack shows her the brand on her arm and asks if she owes it to her mother to at least try, and Bathory nods in agreement. So we go to the woods, where Bathory wants to know how Jack will use her brand to get to Michaela. Ask and you shall receive. Jack cuts her hand and drops the blood on her brand, which burns.
I don't even know how that worked, why that worked.
And she falls onto her knees, and her eyes go pale white. And Roberto pulls his sword, but Bathory tells him, let's let this play out.
It's like, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So we go to the castle where Michaela is admiring herself in the mirror when Jack pops up. And she turns, no one's there. Well, Michaela is a little impressed that she knows how to use the marking on her arm. And Jack tells her that she's a quick study. And there's a lot of things she knows that could be quite useful. And once again, these two are just amazing going back and forth at each other.
Yeah, I liked the back and forth. But then again, when everything else starts to happen, I'm feeling like Jack didn't think things through.
Right. The experience cost her big time.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack offers to have it out with Michaela, and she replies that she will squeeze the truth out of her wretched mouth before she could raise her sword. And Jack says, yeah, your talk is cheap. Come on, bring it on. And Jack regains consciousness, and Bathory asks if she reached Michaela. Jack tells her yes, and she's pretty sure she'll come. So Bathory tells her people to get ready, and Jack tells Bathory to get ready. So we go back to the castle as Olivia is banging on the door yelling for Dalibor. She sits in a chair and hears the cries of her son, which upsets her even more. And she thinks there has to be another way out of there, so she walks around the room and finds a small mirror that she takes off the wall. As she looks into the mirror, she says, "You should not be here," and slams the mirror into the floor.
I was wondering who she's talking about.
Right.
If, she's seen something in the mirror and it, more than just her reflection. It's like,
right.
Oh, is she seeing, the dark one or something? Is she still inside fighting?
Right. I would have to say yes, because later on we see what she tries to do. So we go back to the woods where Jack wonders where Michaela is, and she appears from behind a tree. Jack yells for Bathory, but nothing happens. Nobody comes. This isn't good. Michaela tells Jack that she must not have known Bathory for very long if she thought Bathory stands for goodness and light and would help her save humanity. Alrighty then.
Make me question things.
Yes, it does. Michaela tosses Jack like a rag doll with her powers, and she wants to know the secret from Jack, who offers to whisper it in her ear. Like she's going to fall for that, Jack.
Right. Oh, sure, let me do that.
So Jack starts to charge at her, but her powers stop her. But Jack won't give up and struggles to move, but does make it to Michaela and bites her. Thinking that she actually did it, Jack gets laughed at by Michaela as nothing has happened to her. She's in your head, Jack.
Come on, I thought they had figured out how to figure out what's real, what's not, basically.
Yeah. Michaela tells Jack that she can assist her in raising the Dark One as Jack's veins go black.
That's not good.
No. Jack falls to the ground only to be confused as Bathory asks her what happened. Of course, Jack goes, "Well, why didn't you attack?" And Bathory goes, "Who?"
It's like, what are you talking about?
Jack realizes that it was on an illusion and that Michaela tricked her. Of course, Jack looks up and sees the full moon and tells them they have to get to the castle. So the race is on.
Let's go.
Michaela and the sisters are heading to get Olivia, saying that they will never stop her. Dalibor holds his son, telling him that his father is here.
I'm just wondering how long he's going to make it.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there ASAP or do something.
Mm-hmm.
And we might see that at the beginning of next episode.
Possibly.
Yes. Olivia is trying to use the pieces of glass to kill herself when Michaela comes in and tells her it's time to meet her fate. Yeah, Olivia goes, my blood won't flow. It's because you don't have any.
Yeah, when she kept cutting, I'm like, oh, okay, this is weird.
Right. Michaela touches her head and she passes out. And Michaela takes her to the courtyard as Jack and company runs towards the castle. Olivia wonders about her husband and child, and Michaela tells her that life is gone. She tells the sisters to summon the spirit as they cut their hands and let the blood drop into the containers of fire.
Yeah, as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, Olivia, if you don't want to be part of this, how about make your way out of the pentagram?
Yeah. Kayla starts to chant and a supernatural storm builds above the castle. And we see the dark pillars appear and go inside Olivia, who falls to the ground.
Oh, this is, I'm sure, going to be nothing but good.
Right. And of course, we back to the woods where Jack and company stop as they see the storm dissipate and they know they're too late. Olivia rises to her knees and opens her black eyes as Michaela cackles.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
So, again, Talbot being inside, I'm like, you got your kid there. I think you're super screwed. There's like nobody in the castle. Everybody's been taken.
Right.
You don't have your guard. And you didn't notice some weird stuff happening in the courtyard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions there.
Yes, absolutely. Now, if you remember, there was a time when we first saw the Dark One reappear that she wasn't at full strength. She needed to feed for a couple of days to get all her power back. So there's still a chance. But I think the only one that has that opportunity right now would be Dalibor. And I don't know if he's got enough cojones to even attempt it.
Or is he going to be lunch?
Yeah, him and the child may be the Dark One's first meal.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think. I don't know. That's why I said there's so many questions about, like, Talibor. It's like, why didn't you run? Why didn't you kill Michaela? Why didn't you do something?
Right.
Behead. I know. I'm about to say behead your wife. I'm like, oh, wait. I mean, yeah, that probably wouldn't have been easy to do. But knowing full well that she's dead.
Right.
And cursed at this point, maybe you should have done that.
Yes, absolutely. And if nothing else, get what people are left and storm the castle. There's more of them. I mean, more of them than there are of the vampires. So
do something.
Right.
Go find Florian. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. That's
why it's like, there's questions and what the heck? What did you do? Kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this one had me like I said, I was questioning stuff, it answered stuff, and then I'm still questioning stuff. It's like, but what?
Right.
That was basically how I ended. I was like,
Yeah. Now, will we actually hear Bathory tell Jack about the Dark One's blood? We'll see.
You're going to have to tell us something.
Right.
We need some more information. Like, did Bathory ever say her last name?
No.
Okay. See, again, I am like so stressed out thinking we only have a few episodes and I know we have a whole season. So I know everyone out there is probably like, calm down.
Well, we only have one more episode in the past, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that for a fact, but I think this part of the story will end in the next episode.
Oh, okay. Well, in the future, Violet's all weird too. So, I mean, I don't know what, you know? Well, I guess we just kind of hold on and go for this ride, huh?
Yep.
Well, you know how we feel. Why don't you tell us how you feel? Shoot us an email at sci-fi talk@fangirlzone.com, or you can head over to www.fangirlzone.com, check out the contacts page and all the ways to get a hold of us there, because we definitely want to know what you think is going on. because I'm already stressed out. So, share some of your tinfoil hat theories or your history, anything. I want to know. And while you're at it, if you can rate and review us on iTunes and every other platform you find us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends about the show, especially if they're into vampires. This is totally different than I think any vampire show I've watched before. So really, really good. And we, of course, hope you're enjoying the podcast. So for this episode of Sci-Fi Talk, I'm Sean Fangirl.
And I'm Steve. Close the door before somebody sees me. I'm not in the mood to be hanged again.
And until next time.